It's as if I'm sitting amidst hushed tones. If you live in lane, why claim you got guts though? As you switch lanes, I take aim for the gusto. Even my reckless method wreck shit, just so you know. Your lavish status adds to my madness for the simple fact that as you perpetrate, you perpetuate everything they established. Another token fool from the school of backstabbers. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah, we're checking. Top of the morning. That goes for the evening and afternoon too. Hopefully it's a great day for you thus far, you know? Hopefully. Let me chop it up to you about preferences real quick, because that's very important to touch on, especially in this day and age where everybody's expected to be politically correct. But just know your preferences is what drives your desire. You know what I'm saying? That's what draws you, your natural attraction. You feel me? As far as what catches the eye, you know what I'm saying? When you're trying to build a connection with somebody, you have preferences or you're preferential towards, you know what I'm saying, that which draws you, you know? And let's talk about that. So first and foremost, if you feel like you don't got any preferences, I'm gonna sit right here and tell you you lying, you know what I'm saying? That's not the case, because in this society and just in the world period, in your everyday life, you are partial to something. You know what I'm saying? You have a bias, and it's okay. It's not wrong. Certain people might tell you it's wrong because they want you to believe that we live in a society that's equal. That's not the case, because everybody's different, everybody's situation is different, so on, so forth, history, all that. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case. So therefore, everybody is partial to something. You choose what you're partial to, and sometimes it's that natural, you know what I'm saying, partiality that's within you that makes you, you know, form your preferences. And it's very important to touch on this because when it comes to, let's speak about romantic situations, you know what I'm saying? What draws you naturally? There's nothing wrong with having a preference. It only becomes a problem when you make it to where anything that is outside your preference is inferior and you begin to belittle it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you're not doing that, it's cool to have preferences because we all got them. Don't sit here and tell me you don't, because you got them. I got them, you know? But I never allow myself to believe that my preference is the dominant and everything else is beneath that. You feel me? Never. You shouldn't do that, because now it becomes superior, inferior. And just because it ain't your preference doesn't mean it's inferior. It's just what you don't like. You know what I'm saying? What you're not drawn to. And that's cool, you know? And it also depends on the standards you set as far as what you feel like you're worthy of or what you feel like you deserve. That's a whole nother topic, but we're gonna talk about what naturally draws you. You know what I'm saying? Your natural attraction. Preferences are okay. Just don't make it to where, like I said, you make it to where it's above, below. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know politically correct, nothing. You know what I'm just saying? I'm just telling you. Because you don't like it doesn't mean you gotta like bash it and attack it. You know what I'm saying? And slash it. You ain't gotta do that. You feel me? Just you ain't always gotta let it be known that that's not your preference. Because that not being your preference, you're not going to be considerate in saying that that's not your preference. You're just going to be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You ugly as hell. You know, you're going to say something out the way, you know, because you don't have no consideration for that which you're not preferential to, what's not naturally drawing you. So don't always let it be known that's not your preference. Just don't rock that way. You feel me? But I feel like what becomes a problem is when people voice anything contrary to their preference and then begin to like bash it, beat it down. And especially when it comes to, let me get specific for a second. This is a general, I'm saying this in generalities, but let me get specific because this is what's inspiring me to say this. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to our women, those are mine, you know what I'm saying, a part of the tribe. When it comes to us, we can't afford to spew out of our mouth what we don't like about our women. Not at this time, not in this juncture, you know what I'm saying, at this moment in history, we can't afford to do that. So if it ain't your preference, cool, but keep it moving. You don't gotta say out your mouth, I don't like that and I prefer this and that. Cool, especially if you got some kind of influence. Like you doing something in your city, you moving and shaking and you are known, you know what I'm saying, and you saying this all on the gram or you saying this wherever you saying this at. Why would you do that and instill low self-esteem in those of ours, you know what I'm saying, our potential queens, assuming that you know what I'm saying, that potential is there because they're not conditioned by society to be a detriment to the rest of us. But we haven't ascended to king and queen status, in my opinion, but that'll be another video for another time. So why would you put that negative, you know what I'm saying, veil on that potential queen like that, bro? Don't let, you ain't gotta let it be known. Just go rock with what you rock with. And believe it or not, you know what I'm saying, words have weight. You're gonna feel some kind of way about words. There's a bunch of words I could say right now. Anybody watching this might feel some kind of way about me saying it because it's the connotation of the energy we put behind the words. That doesn't go for just one word, but I'm talking about words you speak, words you say. You feel what I'm saying? So, nothing wrong with having preferences. Everybody is partial to something. Everybody has a preference. I don't see a problem with it. Let's not use it to be divisive, you know what I'm saying? To divide this from that or this from this, you know what I'm saying? Because they use that against us. That's a tactic that they use against us to keep us separated. Do you prefer, just as a general, of course I can get deeper, but I'm not gonna do that on YouTube, but just for the sake of generalities, do you prefer Malcolm's way or Martin's way? You know what I'm saying? Eye for eye or turn the other cheek? Do you prefer, you know what I'm saying, Islam or Christian? Do you prefer, you know, they always do that to us to divide. So why would we perpetuate that same division amongst us? Why would we say out of our mouth what we don't like? You feel me? Especially, I'm still talking about within our tribe, among our women. Now, there is a time when you should voice what you don't prefer. You know, there is a time and place for all things. I'm not going to tell you anything different because I believe that. There's a time and place for all things. A time to build, time to destroy. A time to love, time to hate. Assuming that they're channeled properly, you know what I'm saying, in both cases. You know what I'm saying? There's a time for peace, a time for war. There's a time to voice your opinion, there's a time to stay silent. The same with preference. There's a time to voice what you don't prefer, and there's a time not to. But I feel like we waste energy speaking on things we don't prefer amongst us, and then it becomes a detriment to us proceeding or progressing, because we got to address that, you know what I'm saying, what I don't prefer, situation, you know? Because it hit home, bro. No, I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm everybody's preference, so I know there are some people that wouldn't prefer my company, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. I'm not conceited, so it don't hit me in the heart. It don't be like, damn, because I never proceed or go into a situation believing that off my physical appearance, I'm somebody's preference. You know what I'm saying? Because I know me, based off my physical appearance, I don't invest because of that. That's a tricky situation, you know? I'm proceeding and trying to see what's on the mind of this individual before I invest anything. Time. I'm not talking about monetarily and materially. I'm talking about time, energy, thought, you know what I'm saying, consideration, all those things. So that being said, giving people the benefit of the doubt, I don't believe that I'm going to be everybody's preference. You know what I'm saying? No low self-esteem and nothing, just being realistic. That being said, that's okay. There's no problem with me not being somebody's preference. I'm not tripping, life goes on, but I do know I am somebody's preference. You know what I'm saying? It cuts on both sides, you feel me? It's this at one time and this at another time, because there's a time and place for all things. So though I might not be her preference in this moment, the next one I might chop it with, I might be her preference, you feel me? But at the end of the day, what I'm relaying by way of what's on my mind, my understanding, is really what's going to captivate her, as opposed to just the physical draw, you know? So preferences are just a surface thing anyway. Do you feel what I'm telling you? It's a surface thing anyway. So that's why I say it's okay to have a preference. But as long as you're willing to delve deeper into why you're, you know, preferential toward, and not just go and act based off of your preference, your surface preference, it's all good. As long as you don't do that, it's all good. But go with your gut. Whatever you're drawn to, whatever you prefer, dig deeper, you know? Don't be an investigator or a private eye or nothing like that. No police activity is condoned. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as far as wanting to know if it's a worthy situation to invest in. That's all I'm saying. You feel me? There's nothing wrong. Your questions should come from that vein, like wanting to know deeper about the person sincerely, not to jam them up later down the line, you know? That's what they do. We don't need to do that with each other. So therefore, questions amongst us should be cool, should be entertained. if that's what you prefer. You know what I'm saying? If you're in conversation with someone or something you prefer, and it's cool. And your preference is not better than my preference, and my preference is not better than your preference. So what I prefer is not like the standard. If you don't prefer this, man, you a weirdo. Nah, you prefer what you prefer. You feel me? I'm not the one or the judge to say whether what you prefer is right or wrong. If you should prefer this, that's not for me to say. And I'm never gonna be the one to say that. Why? Because just as sure as I got a preference, you have a preference. And you might not prefer what I prefer. Cool. And I might not prefer what you prefer. Also cool. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not finna down your preference because I don't prefer it. Why do that? Why do that? You see? And then to those people that attack what they don't prefer, you're the reason that there's confusion. Because you don't prefer it, you don't have to start slapping labels on things and saying, because this person don't prefer it in this way, they're this, they're that. You know what I'm saying? They're, you know, who are you to judge based off of somebody's preference, what they are or are not? Who are you? You know what I'm saying? Find time to answer that question, bro, because that's the reason that there's confusion, and that's the reason that people are offended based off of people's preferences, which is, it's a natural thing to prefer this or that. Because like I said, if you subscribe to what I just told you, everybody's biased or partial towards something as a human being. And there's nothing wrong with that. Once your partiality is downing what somebody else is not assimilating to, you know what I'm saying? That becomes an issue. Once you weaponize your partiality, it becomes an issue to break it down further. You know what I'm saying? Not to be so vague, but yeah. And this society is showing us that their partiality is what's suppressing us, keeping us in the position. So therefore, their prejudice is wicked because there's wicked intention behind their preference or their bias or partiality or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All that. If it wasn't the wickedness behind it, they would be right to be partial to their own tribe. That's natural. But when you have all the resources and you got weapons and you got means to keep people away from resources, that basic human needs, the bare necessities, you know what I'm saying? On some Jungle Book, you know what I'm saying? You keep people away from that, you know what I'm saying? And now, based off your partiality, you decide whether somebody lives or dies on your discretion. Now that becomes an issue. And that also muddies the waters, you know what I'm saying? Society also makes it a dire situation when it comes to people's preferences, which we all have. And I'm gonna tell you until my last breath, I don't feel like there's a problem with having a preference. I myself have preferences, but I don't discriminate based off my preference though. You feel me? Just because visually, because that's what it's all based on. If you think about it, you never fully know nobody until you speak to them. But what's gonna make you wanna speak to them is what you're preferential to, what you prefer. That's what's gonna make you approach, if you got the heart to do so, you know what I'm saying? That's what's gonna make you, but until you speak to this person, dialogue, spend time, invest energy and all that, you'll never know that person. Because we should be preferential not to the visual, to the physical. We should be preferential to people's spirits, man, what they putting out. You know what I'm saying? Their character. What principles do I prefer the principles that you stand on or do I not? As opposed to the fit, because she could be bad, you know, all that. If she don't stand as a woman, like I feel like a real woman should stand, not like my standard is that, but I'm talking about standing on any kind of principles that she's able to break down and really stand on when time calls for it. You know what I'm saying? If she doesn't at least have that, why would I prefer to be around somebody with no principles? That's gonna end me up in prison for a damn near a lifetime, you know, or dead. Do you feel what I'm telling you? But just because she don't prefer, you know what I'm saying? Just because she's not my preference physically, if she does have principles that she's standing on, that she's a woman about, you know what I'm saying? A mature woman about. Forget the physical, visual preference. I'm trying to rock with you. Yeah, you got your head on straight. Yeah. I don't see no jail time in the future with me and you doing what we could possibly do. Do you feel what I'm saying? Tell me you feel what I'm saying. You feel me? Forget the physical preference. That's why I said if we start looking beyond that, we won't be out here voicing I'd rather have a light-skinned woman than a dark-skinned woman. What? bruh, a queen is a queen no matter what flavor, you know what I'm saying, or what, you know what I'm saying, complexion the queen come in. Because you know our history, you know what I'm saying? There's very rarely a time that you will find, you know, those of mine, those of like kind, with the pure flesh of the queen that we knew to be in the past. You know what I'm saying? That's very rare because everything's been diluted and watered down. Some things remain solid. Some things have not been watered down. But when it comes to our genealogy, you feel what I'm telling you? That has been watered down against our will. You know what I'm saying? So in this current day, to base your preferences off of a physical, you know what I'm saying? A physical view, you twist it. And then to voice that, you're even more twisted and causing confusion. You're the living, walking, breathing personification of the Willie Lynch letter, bro. And you should be ashamed of yourself. In all due respect, but all sincerity, like you should be ashamed. You're the walking, breathing personification of the Willie Lynch, causing division, especially among our women, bro. At a time when we need our women to be their strongest. Forget what your physical, preference is. Does the queen have her head on straight? Is she conditioned to be a detriment to you down the line? Is she gonna throw child support on you and put a baby on you down the line, bro? She could be bad and all that. If she doing that, she is a detriment. No matter how bad she is. That go for the women, for the men too, but I can't speak on that with any kind of passion because I'm not knowing about that. But for the women too, off the visual, don't let that drop be the reason that you suffer down the line. Do you feel what I'm telling you? It applies to all walks of life, you feel me? Point being, you know what I'm saying, physical preference, get past that and start preferring, you know what I'm saying, things that are of substance. Because sometimes your eyes will lead you down the wrong path. Your eyes will mislead you at times. You thought you saw what you thought you saw, but it wasn't what you saw though, It'd be one of them things. Everything that glitter ain't gold, you know how the saying goes. It'd be one of them things, man. Do you feel me? Like, it'd be one of them. And then that's why I say, preference is not bad when handled properly. When focused properly, when directed properly. Everybody has them. It's just that now, as far as vocally, you know what I'm saying, with our vocabulary, we're mishandling and mischanneling that preference. We're mishandling it. You know what I'm saying? A natural thing is oftentimes mishandled by those of us in flesh. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I'm not going to talk about that right now. I'll talk about that later. But you know what I'm saying? We're human is what I mean to say. So we make mistakes. So things will be mishandled. Things will be botched. I believe everything is corrupted once man touch it. Personally, I could break that down later in a later video. But I'm saying all that to say, preferences are not a bad thing when handled properly. And they're natural. There's nothing wrong with them. Nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? And again, I felt it important to bring this up because I was actually in conversation with somebody that brought it to my attention, what somebody said on Twitter at one time. And based off preference, you know what I'm saying? This person didn't prefer a certain thing and everybody that didn't, or this person preferred a certain thing, and those who didn't subscribe to that preference, she started to like attack them and stuff like that. And it's like, bro, because you don't prefer what somebody else prefer, that doesn't make their preference less than your preference, bro. Or anybody that's not within your preference doesn't make them beneath you, you know what I'm saying? Or beneath anything or anybody. And to voice it and put it out into the atmosphere like that, that's detrimental, You know what I'm saying? This is not the, like coddle or baby women or baby anybody that might be hurt by somebody else's not preferring them. But I'm saying it cuts down on a lot of confusion as well, we all adults, not all of us, but you know what I'm saying? The people that I'm speaking to at this moment, we're adults. So you should have thick skin, realizing that you're not everybody's preference. But saying it out loud is gonna stir up emotions. You feel me? It's gonna stir up emotions, so why say that? Just rock the way you rock. Do you feel me? Just rock the way you rock. It's cool. We don't gotta know what you do and don't prefer. Especially don't. But the one you pursuing should know that that's what you prefer. Of course. Common sense. And that's really all who need to know your preference is that what you're pursuing. Why are you telling the, why are you putting it out there what you don't prefer? To start a conversation, you want to be the one talked about, You want to be the one on people's lips, whether negatively or positively. Because they're going to talk bad about you if you say some, if they're not your preference. So why would you say it? And then you're going to proceed according to your understanding. And if you get word that somebody talking down about you, now all of a sudden you're not their preference, you're going to want to kick up dust. Like, that's confusion. Taking everybody's feelings out the equation, the acts being done is confusion. Why do it? Especially among us. Everybody else going to do what they want. We are not a lot of people's preference. It's cool. I'm talking about among us. Why would you voice that, you know what I'm saying, among those who you're supposed to be building with? Especially when it comes to attraction, because that's a touchy topic, man. When speaking to the fair sex, man, women, that's a touchy topic, bro, because they put a lot of effort into their appearance. You know what I'm saying? How they're presenting themselves. They put a lot of effort into that. So if you in a local gathering, you know what I'm saying? You out doing your thing at a function. Why would you say it out loud in an atmosphere like that? You know what I'm saying? Or even to that queen personally, and it took a lot of effort for her to come out and be seen, Not to the queen, just because that dude ain't your preference, and even if he voices it, the night goes on because there's plenty of other dudes in that function. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of other people you might prefer in that function. You feel me? But again, cut down on the confusion, bro. Why would you say that? Why would you let that be known? You could curve people different ways, Now I understand being curved, you know what I'm saying? Being swerved in a different direction out of yours is a part of, the interaction at times. I'm not gonna lie. At times it might be better to tread lightly, you know what I'm saying? So curve in a swift, smooth way if that's not your preference. And especially if they're putting on the pressure for you to make a decision, you know what I'm saying, that ain't gonna go in their favor, Your curve game gotta be a little tough at that point. I get that. You know what I'm saying? I get that. But still take the smooth route, man. Don't cut the queen, even if she's not your preference. You feel me? Don't do that. Cause you're gonna mess her up and damage her for the next one. Whose preference that is. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. Get your curve game up. You feel me? But again, I gotta stress this point. I'm saying all that to say, preference is not a bad thing. It's a part of life. You know what I'm saying? It's a part of our existence in flesh. That's just the way things are. You're not going to always be preferred, you know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you will be preferred. That's in anything you do. You know what I'm saying? Getting your money, however you getting your money. You know what I'm saying? Whatever gig you got, however you making your scratch. Somebody has to prefer you over something else to put money in hand, bro. So the time you don't get the money in hand, you go off the hinges, Nah, you keep it moving. That's just like with attraction. Preference with attraction. If you're not somebody's preference, keep it moving. Rather be rejected than waste time, bro. Do not fear rejection, fear wasting time. Matter of fact, don't hate rejection, hate wasting time. You feel me? Hate that, bro. Do not want to waste any time. So the rejection is actually saving you time. Even, you see what I'm saying? Because you're not going to be everybody's preference. Just like everybody's not your preference. It's cool. You feel me? It's cool. So that being said, preference is the way of the world. Again, whatever business you handling right now, somebody has to prefer you to put money in hand. There are times where the money won't come to hand because you're not preferred. It's okay. Life goes on. And let me just tell you like this. I'm going to tell you honestly. I don't have no high standards. I'm looking for something deeper than the physical. You feel me? And this is not like my, you know what I'm saying? I'm not looking for resumes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to hold no interviews or nothing like that over the YouTube. I'm just saying personally, just to share a piece of me with the camera that's on right now, that's on me right now. I don't have like a standard that's unreachable, that's nobody can get over. As long as you a decent human being, bro, if you're not scandalous, I don't care. The physical do not mean that much to me. Because I feel like I could build on anything that come into my life. You know what I'm saying? I could build on that. If that's what you are, self-conscious about. I got tips, tricks of the trade, you know what I'm saying? I got things that can help you enhance those things. Not like I'm a guru of fashion or cosmetics or nothing like that, but I know what I prefer. You know what I'm saying? I know what I like to see. Do you feel me? And that being said, you feel what I'm saying? My stint, it's not like she gotta have this, this height, you know what I'm saying, this skin tone, you know what I'm saying, this color eyes, this amount of hips and this. Nah, bro. But there are people like that. And it'd be harder to make their list. That's cool. Life goes on. You know what I'm saying? You can swing this way. You might be my preference. You feel what I'm saying? If your head on straight. You know, I can't do nothing about people that see things in a shallow vein, you know? That's the way of the world. That's the society we live in. Everything is shallow. You know, everything is surface. You have to dig deep to get deep, you know what I'm saying? But everything else is surface. There'll be somebody that you go to your local store or whatever, the corner store, gas station, whatever, that don't like you within themselves. They got a prejudice against you. You are not their preference as a person. But the conversation to be like, I ain't doing, yeah, I'm gonna, all that surface. You feel what I'm saying? That's the way the society has been able to stay not unhinged like it's coming right now for so long. Was the niceties. And people really didn't feel like that. That doesn't mean that you're their preference because they talking to you nice. You feel me? On the surface, they treating you nice and saying all the right things. That don't mean that you're their preference. What you can build with somebody determines if they're your preference or not. How long they stay dedicated to the collective goal, you know, determines if they, you know, if you're their preference, is what I mean to say, you know? That's what that time determines if you're somebody's preference, to be honest. You feel me? Because looks fade. You're not gonna always look your best every day of your life. God willing, you live a long time. You feel what I'm telling you? So them things fade. What are you made of? You know what I'm saying? I'm preferring that. Like, are you made of something? Are you, you know what I'm saying? Are you standing on something? Do you feel, does your word mean something? You get me? Does your, you know, does me investing time warrant, you know what I'm saying, your loyalty? In your mind, is that a principle of yours? Is it not? You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Whoever's spending time with me to decide if, you know, they prefer me, it should be the same thing. Am I saying is everything coming through like I said it would? Am I a man of my word? Am I standing on something? You know what I'm saying? Do I personify a walking solution? Bottom line. And then she should decide at that time if I'm her preference. But that, we both have that right because we all have preferences. And if you sit here and tell me you don't, I'm gonna tell you a bold-faced lie. And I'm gonna mean that because everybody got preferences. Everybody. So, yeah, just know you're not gonna be everybody's preference. You should be okay. You know what I'm saying? And to those who fear rejection because you're not somebody's preference, please understand that time is precious. You know what I'm saying? Do not want to waste time. So if they let you know off top, this ain't gonna go nowhere, you know? Yeah, I'm not feeling you like that. Nah, I don't, you can't get my number. Yeah, okay, cool. Life, you proceed from that point, keep your head high, you know what I'm saying? And keep it pushing, bro. You feel me? And handle your business. Make sure your business is still handled, you know? So then when she see you maybe later in life, and you're looking a little bit more preferable to her, you know what I'm saying? More preferable to her, you know what I'm saying? You could decide at that point if you want to put her down with whatever you got going on or not. But as long as you're working on you and you prefer you feel me? You'll become many's preference. You know what I'm saying? If they see that you prefer you. But that's where it starts, you know? That's where it starts. And don't, you know, do not fear rejection, fear wasting time if you're a fearful person. You know what I'm saying? If you're a person with passion, hate wasting time. Do not hate rejection. Because it's all on behalf of the greater good, man. Because check it out. The time you would have wasted trying to chop it with her to get her to like you, as opposed to her just telling you, nah, this ain't finna, you know what I'm saying? That's time that could have been spent in the face of the next one that's preferring you a little bit more. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, so yeah. I prefer time over being led along. Let's put it like that, because she could not be preferring you for a period of time, making you believe that she feeling you, that she prefer you, and you wasting time, as opposed to her telling you off gate, like off top, like, you know, I'm not with that. I don't feel you. No. Cool. All right, and I'll probably even tell her, like, I appreciate you didn't waste my time. I appreciate that for letting me know. Have a good one though, you know. And I'm going to the next possibility. Do you feel what I'm telling you? And that all comes with knowing within yourself that you're not everybody's preference. You're not going to be everybody's preference. And it's cool, because life goes on. You know what I'm saying? You'll come across those whose preference you are. Cool. All love. And yeah, take it easy. All love. Spread love. Love yourself. You know what I'm saying? So therefore you can manifest that love. And yeah. I hope you get everything you deserve in life, man. Yeah.
If I die defenseless, is a black life worth defense? In the eyes of the youth, what's the use in making amends? Forgiveness is an extension of playing pretend. No make-believe can bring relief to genocidal sin. What are we waiting on? Stand strong in self-defense. Why play the fence when the poison is growing more and more intense? And I wish we get the gist, cause if we don't, we'll die in a wreck. And I just don't get why we don't try. In time we'll realize